Me. No Nut November. My girlfriend. Reddit. Struggles to beat No Nut November. Me. Who's never cheeked off in my life. Pathetic. Stop saying we're screwed. We'd be screwed if it was November. When you realize that Halloween is actually the last day you can feb, spooky music stops. No Nut November. Everyone celebrating spooky month. No Nut November. Awesome only October. Me about to lose to No Nut November. Got whimpering. My newfound No Nut powers. I got you, brother. Daddy DeVito. Oh, no, you don't. Mom, why do you hate November? Me, you wouldn't get it. Grandma, why are you posting on Facebook about not having nut in November? Grandma, if you developed a nut allergy I need to modify my recipes. Call me back. Me explaining to the wild squirrel I can no longer feed him because it's No Nut November. Squirrel noises. No Nut November. People of the Earth. Movember. Men's Mental Health Month. When a witch turned you into a squirrel right before No Nut November. Abrahamic religions. Edgy teens. No Nut November. Fasting. People participating in No Nut November. Day 1 versus Day 2. No pun in No Nut November. Watching pun without nutting. No Nut November. Non-stop Nut November. No nonsense November. You can now charge your phone by masturbating. Guys during November. Me. Beats the meat for the last time before No Nut November. Also me. Finish at 0001. Not stunks. No Nut November. Non-stop Nut November. People struggling with No Nut November. Us lecturers. Me taking notes of all my friends who are doing No Nut November this year, so I can send them pan to try and make them lose. 9 hours into No Nut November, and you bump shoulders with a female in the hallway. This pleases the nut. People who aren't participating in No Nut November. Me who still hasn't lost. When it's No Nut November, but you're married, so it's no nut forever. Me resting my arm on No Nut November. No Nut November is top tier stupid. Looks like someone failed. Someone had to keep your girl happy. No Shave November was created to raise awareness on portrait answer. No nutting increases the chances of developing portrait answer, but that's none of my business. No Shave November. No Nut November. I don't have to worry about No Nut November because I'm a virgin. I don't have to worry about No Nut November because I'm a virgin. No Nut November is scarier than Spooktober. Change my mind. Doing Nnn. No N word November. Doing Nnn. No Nut November. POV. You passed No Nut November. Day 2 of No Nut November. I'm able to control the flow of my chakra and my powers are rising with time. Me. No Nut November. Big tighty goth girls. Objects in mirror are closer than their peer. Objects in mirror are closer than their peer. People struggling in No Nut November. People are allergic to nuts doing the No Nut challenge for their entire life with no struggles. Nobody is born cool. Except of course. People who succeed No Nut November. What are the Mario brothers' views on No Nut November? Mario says, No Nut November can be a great time to practice resisting sexual urges and boosting your confidence due to higher amounts of testosterone. Luigi says, whether at home or on the road, there is never a wrong time to blow your load. Wario says, people should be able to back off during any month. Letting the internet control you is foolish. Luigi says, sell both tentacles on the bulk market to avoid masturbation completely as well as for financial profit. People during No Nut November. People that never stopped beating their meat. No Nut November. 99 Nut November. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to inform you that I've got a girlfriend. P.S. Good luck with No Nut November. The rules of No Nut November. You cannot have sex, masturbate, or nut in any way, shape, or form. Watching photography and having dunners are allowed, but you can't nut. You are only allowed one wet dream. If you have more than one, then consider yourself out. You do not have 3 strikes. You only have 1 shot at it. If you miss it, you're out. If you have passed the month with a total of 0 nuts, you are a victor and you shall qualify for Destroy Nut December. Not recommended. Look, man, just don't nut in 30 days. People doing No Nut November are slectuals. Look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. 20 million people already failed No Nut November. Week. Update. 100 million have now fallen. Or was it just 100 people that nutted a million times each yesterday? Pathetic. No Nut November begins. My PP. You didn't have to cut me off. The irony of No Nut November. I will suppress my sexual urges. Then I will feel more in control of myself. Now I'm constantly honey when I see any woman just existing. Lewd thoughts control more of my headspace than before. Everyone, we should create a No Nut November pass for $20 submitted to teamtrees.org. Elon Musk. Nutting on your birthday. Your birthday is in November. I'm crushing No Nut November so far. 5 days and I haven't eaten a single nut. The trick is to masturbate anytime you want to eat a nut. That's not wrong. Me on the first day of No Nut November. Failed step 1. Me on day 30 of No Nut November. People who failed day 3. Me after nutting for the 978th time today in an attempt to empty my balls before No Nut November. When your homie tries to ruin No Nut November. When it's the first night of No Nut November and you just can't go to sleep for some reason. Day 20 of No Nut November. I seem to have finally developed godlike powers. There's no one in the universe who can stop me from my imminent destruction. How Redditors encourage each other during No Nut November. Keep your browser clean. Or, I will kill you. What are the Mario brothers' views on No Nut November? Mario says, No Nut November is an internet trend. It is entirely up to you whether to follow it or not. Luigi says, if you nut, your pens gets cut. Nnn. No Nut November. No nut until New Year. No nut never. Girls on OnlyFans during No Nut November. Day 4 of No Nut November. I can now hear colors and control the ducking weather. First day into No Nut November. Everyone said it wouldn't last. And it didn't. Everyone. No Nut November is so easy. Queen. Another one bust the nut. Have you survived No Nut November thus far? Yes. 32%. No. 68%. Pro tip. I learned by minimizing your amount of time on YouTube. Kids help Saturn. No Nut November approaches. I gonna make friends as soon as possible. Good luck with that. We are inside Belle Delphine. Man beats little brother after he found him masturbating during No Nut November. That moment when you haven't nutted in 4 days. You fail No Nut November. You are allowed to nut again. Imagine getting jumped by someone in November and you hear someone yell beat that guy's meat. The guy who nuts at 11:59 on October 31st. Ice Age. Ice Age. If that stupid little rat had participated in the No Nut November. Hydrating for the upcoming Halloween or No Nut November crossover. When No Nut November ends, the guys that were participating, you have no idea what a pleasure it is for me to finally beat you. Me, completing No Nut November. Markiplier OnlyFans. When you are making fun of people living in a different time zone so for them no nut November starts sooner, but then you remember that you have to wait longer before it ends for you. Nutting during no nut November. Not nutting. Fepping but stopping halfway through. Drinking lots of water so it counts as peeing. Getting a sex change so it wouldn't be nutting. Using the Hindu calendar so November won't exist. Halloween is still coming. Next month is no nut November. Not watching porn during no nut November. Watching porn during no nut November but resisting nutting. Cutting your balls off during no nut November. Watching porn on the 30th of November and timing the nut perfectly so it lands exactly at midnight. When you fail no nut November in the last week. Nut bar. No nut November must be stopped. December 1st. No nut November. Spooktober. Me waking up with a dunner on November 1st. Not today, old friend. Me after completing no nut November. I've won. But at what cost? Me every no nut November. Stop fepping. You know what? I'm gonna fep even harder. No nut November finishes. Me to my spam. Oh boy, here I go kelling again. A sexuals watching everyone fail no nut November. Pathetic. No nut November begins. Me, this pun is so heat, I'm gonna go another round after this. Nuts. Me. What the duck is wrong with me? When you realize no nut November is pointless. Oh, wow. I've wasted my life. When she unzips your pants during no nut November. Birth control effectiveness. Condos, 99%. Birth control pills, 99%. No nut November, 100%. Get ready boys, no nut November is coming. See you in a month. Homework. So long, partner. No nut November exists. Boomers with projectile dysfunction. When it's nearly the end of Spooktober, but the beginning of no nut November. Me 1 week into no nut November. Not doing no nut November because it's too hard. Putting posters of men around your room so it's guy few nut. Do I still fail no nut November if I put the nut back? I killed a man. And you? I nutted during November. When you get caught looking at porn during no nut November. I was only looking at the porn. I wasn't gonna nut on M. Day 1 of no nut November. Give it up for day 1. When you're 5 days into no nut November and your homie bends over. Me when no nut November starts. I to my head out. When it's no nut November and you see a picture of Stefan Carol Steffens. My urge to nut. Me. You really thought I was kidding about no nut November. Mop, why is the whole month of November marked in your calendar? Me, you wouldn't get it. This will happen if you nut a no nut November. Did you do it? Yes. What did it cost? Everything. Hooking up with a girl on Halloween at 11:58 p.m. What about no nut November? Me. I'm fast. I'm very fast. When you're 1 day into no nut November and you look at the clock and it's 6:69. The stage is to failing no nut November. I really need to nut. One time won't hurt. Nobody would notice. Plus, I have a free nut pass. This month will be easy. When your crush develops an abrupt interest in you during no nut November, then somehow it develops into a friendship, and one afternoon you go over to her house to hang, but suddenly she goes into the bathroom to freshen up, but comes out with no clothes on. Chuckles, I'm in danger. What society would look like if nobody failed no nut November? When you've almost completed no nut November, but your homie bends over. No, not November is coming, but we sure aren't. When it's 23:59 on October 31st, and you still haven't found any good pun. My meat. We are out of time. Me. When you change the date settings on your phone to 1st of December, henceforth you are able to feb. The laws of time are mine. No, not November. Before. Borderline ghost crammies. No nutritional value. A flea couldn't swim in it. After. Massive nut. Enough protein for a week. Could drown a horse. It's the final day of No Nut November and you see this. What do you do? No Nut November. How it started. How it's going. When my mates have kids in August after No Nut November. Oh no. Doing No Nut November. Doing no feb. Not fepping at all. Not existing at all. Using your home as nut to nut on your nut so you can feel like you just busted a big nut. Bill Gates is sad about No Nut November. C/user/bill/desktop/homework is not accessible. It's No Nut November. Access is denied. Okay. When you nut for a third time in November, 3 strikes, you're out. When it's No Nut November, girlfriend, let's have sex. Me, no. Girlfriend, why? Me, you wouldn't get it. Me every time I go to sleep on No Nut November. Are you going to sleep? Yes. Now leave me alone. Imagine you nut during the sleep. Me looking at my meat at 11:59 on October 31st. Yeah, I've got time. OnlyFans creators before November. OnlyFans creators during No Nut November. 1 minute in No Nut November. 10 minutes in No Nut November. 30 minutes in No Nut November. 1 hour in No Nut November. 5 hours in No Nut November. 1 day in No Nut November. Got people who watch porn, masturbate but don't nut during No Nut November. My girl asking what she's done wrong to be denied sex. Me reciting the laws No Nut November to her. When your girlfriend's grades have been high all year except for November. My friend, what are you doing tonight? Me who remember that No Nut is tomorrow. No Nut November temptations. You passed me off, so I'm gonna rend your bitch and city right here and now. You shall not pass. Me. 12:04 AM November 1st. Looks like I'm about to break the law. November 1st. November 30th. 4 things that can end No Nut November for you right now. PS1 Hagrid. Ricardo Millis. Obmid. Thick chicken. Just ruined the mods No Nut November. No Nut November starts. Girl who never had interest in me. It's free real estate. When you forgot to nut before No Nut November started and your stepsister bends over. When you realize No Nut November starts tomorrow, so you bust out 10 quickies. I'm sorry, little one. You realize you can watching Pornhub videos to plant trees. It is No Nut November. My last 2 brain cells before No Nut November. My last 2 brain cells after No Nut November. When there is 10 seconds left until No Nut November, and I still didn't do my nut of the day. Yeah, I've got time. When you have sex during No Nut November. How can I be so bad at everything I try and still be so great? Pornhub. No Nut November. Me at 3 AM. When your friend fails No Nut November on the 1st of the month. That is why no one will remember your name. Me during No Nut November. When you realize that you survived the first day of No Nut November, but there are still 29 more days to go. Everyone during No Nut November. Christians during No Nut November. When you realize Nicki Minaj is dropping needs on Tuesday because she wants us to fail Nnn November. When it's 11:59 PM of November 30th and you've stayed true to Nnn November, you got a moon. The nut round the corner. Nutting during November. Doing Nnn November. Using an old calendar so you think it's October. Sleeping through all of November. Traveling in time and skipping all of November. Travel back in time to erase the concept of November from history. Me when it's already December 2nd and nobody is saying that they finished Nnn November. Disappointed but not surprised. When you failed on the first day of Nnn November. I have sinned. Day 3 of Nnn November. Not being able to jack off cause you don't want to lose Nnn November. Just don't participate in Nnn November. I failed Nnn November, so I paid the price. Everyone who fails Nnn November should donate one tree for every day left in the month. When you completed Nnn November, but didn't take part in the roll calls, and didn't get the diamond flare, so now you walk the earth, a god among men, who don't know of your achievement. When someone says Nnn November is cancelled due to quarantine. Ducking. Weak.